when really at the end of the day, it's just the matter of a macro market. It's just what happens.
That's why it's really important to have a plan and understand what your goals are.
In fact, my camel out there is suffering right now with a broken back.
So I actually found Pepe when it was only a couple of hours old, and I'm like, oh, this is a funny meme.
Oh my gosh.
Yo! Who is this degen?
The old man is swing trading over years at a time. And it's like, that's where the real money is made.
The answer is a permanent loss. With single-sided staking, you don't have to worry about impermanent loss.
If you're aware, if you're disciplined, you can hone that into further financial growth.
Financial freedom, so we can actually live life and not have to be constantly living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, more or less, right?
And we are live. Welcome to another episode of the DGen Roundtable, our main episode number 36. Very excited to say we are not too far away from episode 40, and right after that, episode 50. And I remember when we first started, we were like, hey, 3 episodes is a great start, and then 10 episodes, then 20 episodes. And we're just really excited to be here, pumping out more content, bringing you the news in the crypto markets, in the economic space, in the world space, and in a place where maybe you can help better yourself, not just financially, but mentally, physically. And there's a lot of ways that we need to work, continually work to better ourselves. And hopefully here at the DGen Roundtable, we can help you to do that. Today, I am surrounded by good friends. Agent Jay is a co-host, Will and Nate, the regulars on the panel, 2 of the regulars on the panel. And we have some really exciting news to talk to you about today. We are going to be touching on some tax changes that President Biden is trying to put into place. CZ, is he going to jail? I don't know. Looks like it's possible. New York Stock Exchange is considering a 24-hour trading period. I wonder why they're potentially going to do that. Also, we're 2 days away from the launch, the official trading launch of the Hong Kong Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, which are very, very exciting news. And we also have a really interesting story about Consensus. So the SEC served them a Wells notice, but MetaMask and Consensus pretty much clapped back with authority. So SEC is going to be in court a lot over the next year to 2 years, fighting the wrong side of the fight against cryptocurrencies. And we'll get into that and more today on episode number 36. I just want to remind everybody that this is not financial advice. We are just giving you some financial entertainment. And, take everything we say with a grain of salt, because we are not professionals. We are not tax experts, and we are certainly not financially trained experts either. However, we know a little bit about the space, and hopefully we can bring our knowledge into your minds, into your hearts, into your space. Agent J, like the backwards cap, you're geared up for a fight, it looks like. What's up, brother?
I felt like a fuckboy today, so I figured I'd turn the cap backwards. But I'm doing good, man. Enjoying the dips, because it's giving us a little bit more time to buy into a lot of these good assets, because a ton of fantastic altcoins have pulled back anywhere between 30. Some have pulled back, I believe, like 60% or so. And I'm just enjoying these dips because we have a lot more time to accumulate. Been a really busy week. Ton of merchandise came into my inventory over the last few days. So it is going to be a very, very, very intensive last few days of the month and early May, because I've got a lot of projects on my plate, which is good because that means more dry powder coming in to buy these dips. And lastly, the second episode, the second AMA, the DRT Fitness and Nutrition AMA, was held this past Friday with Casey co-hosting, and we had a much bigger turnout than the first one, so that was fantastic. We went over the macronutrient hierarchy, what's more important in terms of body composition, protein, calories, protein, carbohydrates, or fat, and then we went over some supplement guidelines as well. So unlike the financial space, we can't give you financial advice, but we sure as hell can give you fitness and nutrition advice. So if you wanna get jacked and tan, come on over to DRT Fitness and Nutrition AMAs on Fridays, and we'll get you square. How about you guys? Will, Nate, how you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good, bro. I'm back in the shipping container, so I'm back in Texas. For those of you who are over in the Dallas area, or if you're anywhere in Texas, hit me up and I'll swing by and say hi. I just did a meetup yesterday. I got to meet Just Ask Jesse. I met Paul Sachs. I met Moonmutt, and I also met Gabriel. And man, that was a kick-ass little meetup. We met up over in Missouri and just had a blast. It was a great time. People like drove hours to come and chill out and see what's up. It was super cool. Just doing direct transmission of energy, meeting and greeting real people, shaking hands, kissing babies, all that cool stuff. It was a blast. Highly recommend that you guys hop on down into, here it is, this little telegram right here, t.me/hex_meetup. It's the Meeting Hexicans group. And I'm going to go ahead and throw that in the chat for you guys to just directly click on to get on over there. But hop on into that group, read through the introductions channel, read through the Start Here channel. It'll explain to you how to use the Telegram. You basically just make location-based topics, and then you link up and reach out to other Hexicans. And yeah, super cool, super awesome. So big shout out to all the gentlemen over there. And yeah, I can't wait to go meet more Hexicans. So I'm in the Dallas area now, and I know a couple people in the area. So I'm going to reach out and meet some more. But yeah, Nate, what's going on, bro? What's new and exciting with you?
Oh, well, I am officially freaking promoted, and immediately, even on my weekends now, I get hey, how come your student is doing this? He needs to stop. And like, yeah, all right, let's go, baby. Starting that early. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. But yeah, as it turns out, I did not need to work yesterday. So I woke up 6:30 like always, and then it's like, okay, well, where's all my stops? Then I call, and apparently, yeah, I'm not working. So just had a day off with the family, and yeah, loaded up, ready to go now. I'm ready for some crypto. Let's do this.
It is exciting. And Centurion actually has an interesting comment. Kind of funny how you can say anything about health, but can't give financial advice. Is money more important than your health to the government? And I would say, I'm not going to say what's more important to the government, but I don't think they care if you live or die. I think they only care if they can control your money. So yes, they want to control the monetary system very much. Yeah, and
they do.
They want to be able to control the people that talk about it. So yes,
hey,
we will
quickly, Centurion. So there's a form of NFA in the fitness and nutrition space. If you are not a registered dietitian, you cannot prescribe any nutrition protocols, but you can give advice. So I can't prescribe you any proper diet, but I can give you some advice. And hey, man, I don't like to boast, but I can run circles around any of these fucking registered dietitians any day of the week. So
pencil-necked dietitians.
Some of them are good. Most of them are not.
I feel like that's the case in a lot of industries. You have your upper echelon of people that are really great, and then you have a lot of people that are just kind of doing some work and getting paid to do it. Okay, well, we have a lot of good topics today, but let's give a quick shout out to some of the people on the channel here first. We couldn't do this without our community, and we appreciate everything that you all do, and we are here for you. Bungalows for Bachelors, first, appreciate it. We need more likes and subscribes. Brown. Mr. Brown.
Why making faces at us, Brown?
He's so sad that he didn't get the first like.
You know what's funny is he's been on camera a lot recently, but I even saw him on book club. I didn't even know he knew how to read.
Yo, didn't you hear? That's what Nate's been doing on his extra time off, man. Teaching Brown how to read.
What?
Been trying.
Hooked on phonics, baby.
Farmer Brown, we love you, brother. Just give me a hard time. Centurion, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome as always. Thank you for being a regular in here. Vets in Crypto, also, thank you for all you do for the community. Tam fam, appreciate it, as always. And Ty Donnerschwanz. What's up, my best friend? Welcome. We are really excited for the show that we have in store for all of you, and we will we'll give some more shout outs later as people come through the chat. So don't we all? If he can read or not, I love him anyway. If he has to listen to those books on audio, you know what? I'm not going to give him a hard time about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so The first topic today that we're going to talk about is something that I find really interesting and something that brought me a few laughs as we were reading through it. So we have the New York Stock Exchange, which runs from 9:30 a.m., the first bell Eastern time, to 4 p.m., the second bell Eastern time. Now, there are a couple hours before and after. You have early trading and you have late trading. But generally speaking, they are a 9:30 to 4 p.m. trading stock exchange. And one thing about crypto, I don't know if you guys know this, but crypto doesn't sleep. 24/7, 365. If you want to buy some Pepe as it's at the top of a green candle, you can do that at 2 a.m. when you're drunk or high off your ass. Not financial advice. Don't suggest buying and selling things when you're under the influence too much. But if you want to, you can, because that is what crypto brings you. It brings you freedom.
This right here, I'm gonna go buy something right now. I've been snacking on this all day long. You know, I'm ready to go push some green buttons.
Hey, you know what?
Well,
We
man,
all
snack on
push our
food.
own red and green buttons. So do you, buddy. But it's interesting. So in this article that we have from CoinDesk, the New York Stock Exchange asks market participants about 24/7 trading for stocks. So it's interesting. Round-the-clock trading became popular with the rise of cryptocurrencies and an increase in retail investor activity during the COVID-19 pandemic. Scratch that, reverse it. I didn't say that word. I didn't say that word at all. I didn't say it. I didn't say it, YouTube.
Android 19, man.
But yeah, so Android 19, the hottest of the 19s, hottest of the Androids, I should say. But yeah, so it's really interesting. New York Stock Exchange, are they fearful of crypto? Are they just wanting to try to make more money, being able to trade around the clock? Is this healthy for people that are trading stocks in a work environment where they're already overworked a lot and work a really stressful job in these hedge funds? I think there's a lot of questions that come up when you look into something about, a lot of potential side effects that come from opening a stock exchange 24/7. What do you guys think? Is this something that is beneficial, and why are they doing it now?
Oh, I love it, dude. They've literally this is them showing how jealous they are of us crypto bros. Because they're like, dude, how come you guys get to just freaking always do trades here and there, and I gotta wait a whole weekend? I love it.
Yeah, it was really interesting when this article came across my desk because, one, the first thing that popped into my head was, okay, they realized how much money crypto was making running 365 24/7. And so why not get our hands in that pot as well, right? Get some of that market share. But the more interesting part to me is when I realized that this is the traditional financial space taking an example from the crypto bros, right? They realize exactly how effective a market can be when it runs 24/7, 365, no restrictions, right? You don't got to be you don't have to set an alarm and clock in at 9 o'clock and then clock out at 4. It runs all the time. And that's what really got me excited about the article, because this is just one example of how the traditional financial space is taking a page out of the crypto bros manual. And so I couldn't be happier, bro. I don't think you're going to experience the kind of success that crypto does, right? Because let's face it, man, traditional finance is not as fucking exciting. You know what? One of my favorite things when I started crypto is being woken up at like 4 o'clock in the morning because my alarm went off and I'm like, oh, it's time to buy. It's either my limit got hit or an alert said that was, oh, you know what? It started pumping. Probably time to consider taking some profits. That happens at 4 o'clock in the morning, at 1 o'clock in the morning, or at 11:30 in the evening, and that's what makes crypto fun. And I think this is the NYSC. This was just a I think it was a survey, right, Bean? Like they asked a survey. Like what do we have the results of that survey by chance? Like what did the participants say? Like, yes, open it up 24/7, or like, nah, man.
I don't know. We don't have it's a good question, but we do know that and it says in the article that there's a startup 24 exchange, which is backed by billionaire hedge fund manager Steve Cohen, who probably a lot of you know. They want to take the step further and and be the first stock exchange to allow 24/7 trading. Several retail brokers like Robinhood already let its clients trade day and night. So it's not unprecedented. Of course, we know Robinhood is primarily lots of crypto involved in their platform.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to sit here and say trade on Robinhood because I think those guys are trash, and I don't think they're looking out for the people that are trading on their platform because many times their platform seems not to work when people want to sell or when people want to buy. And it happens with a lot of centralized exchanges, and they happen to be a centralized exchange. So that's just one of the reasons why I want my money in my own wallet, and I don't want to have to deal with a centralized exchange or deal with them as little as possible on and off board. But
you guys want to hear a fucking hilarious headline that did not age well?
Let's do it.
From this article. So as you read through the article, 24 Exchanges founder and CEO Dimitri Galin told Bloomberg in 2023 this right here. Steve Cohen's backed 24 Exchange shuts down spot crypto product citing weak demand. Of course, this was in June 20th or June of 2023, and so that didn't age well. I'm trying to scroll down further in Bloomberg.
What a fucking loser!
They got a paywall, man. So, oh my god, I was trying to find that little weak demand. It's like,
God.
Oh boy, I bet he well, I mean, the internet forgets shit quick as hell, but like it's all archived. So this is very fun.
So the way that it works is 24 Exchange has to essentially put an application into the SEC to get approval to trade 24/7. And so they are sending that I don't know, I believe they already have sent that to the SEC. And if they haven't, they will be here shortly. But then the SEC has a few months, like the spot ETFs, to respond to that. So we'll see what Mr. Guzzler has to say on the side of the SEC.
I'm all for it, man. I'm a profit maximalist, so if they're like, hey, we can get more money by opening up 24/7, I got no bones about it, man.
Yeah, the one thing that I kind of asked in the first question, one thing that's interesting is these hedge funds, are they going to make people work 24/7? They're probably going to put a lot more pressure on these people that are especially starting out into the financial and really the interns, the first years out of school, the second years out of school. They're going to probably run them dry, and so I think there is a little bit of worry there. So I think we need to have a little bit of maybe make sure it's set up properly. But look, I have nothing against trading 24/7, and we do it, but of course we're doing it for ourselves. We're not being told that we have to do it 24/7 for a job. But what's different than any other job that works overnights? So
that's actually something I didn't think about, Brendan, about actually having to hire people now. Like they got to hire more people now that it's going to be
or hire less people and make the people that they've hired work more.
Yeah,
which is more likely
that's
the case.
Right. Oh, that's gross,
bro.
I think is,
what if they just copy Uniswap? And they just put everyone out of a job. They just do it all automated market makers for stocks or something. Like I don't know what they do over there, right? I don't think they're sitting there like holding up ticker tapes in the air anymore, being like, I've got X stock for this stock. And it's like people hustling and bustling. I have no idea. I'm kind of being facetious now, but like they just turn it all into a big giant Uniswap thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're gonna start turning this into a really big electronics thing now too. Because if you look at crypto, everything we do is on the internet and electronic, and you don't really need to hire people other than to make the websites and stuff itself, and then we just use the websites. It's so decentralized. But yeah, I think they're gonna try and start moving over to that. It's gonna be interesting to watch what they do about it, because you can tell that the financial system, old TradFi, right, is trying to like catch up with the way of technology here with crypto, and it's like they've got things like Robinhood that'll work, but I mean, like E-Trade was a great idea, but I mean, are they going to be able to continue that innovation as fast as crypto? I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, looks like old dog is learning new tricks, so we'll see, man. We shall see. Hey, Bean, before we move on to the next article, can I share something real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bean says the Android 19 is the hottest Android. I like Android 18 personally, but no judgment here. Just
look at how sexy he is. Come on.
It looks like a pork bun.
It does look like a pork bun.
Like a shao pao.
He does. That was
out of the basket, still steaming.
And not only that, but he wears a condom on his head. So don't forget about that.
He does.
I don't know. Man, I find him hilarious as a character, but yeah. Clearly I was joking about the hotness, but yes.
Hey, shout out Android 18, man. He fell for the short guy. Shout out to my short kings.
And bald.
Shout out Krillin.
Yeah, but you do have 6 dots in your forehead.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the hell was the 6 dots on Krillin's forehead, man. Was that like a Shaolin monk kind of thing, bro? I never got it.
That is actually that's a Shaolin monk thing.
Figured.
A monk,
Figured.
yeah. Yep.
That's
It's
funny.
actually meant to be based in China. Was actually the beginning of that. Akira Toriyama actually made it in China.
Okay.
But it's supposed to be kind of like sort of almost fairy tale like. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Krillin does not possess a visible nose and has 6 dots of moxibustion burns on his forehead called Jieba, a reference to the practice of Shaolin monks.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I also now just realized that Krillin did not have a nose, so thank you for that, Will.
Yeah. Thank Wikipedia.
He did not.
That dude swung for the fences and got it.
You know, this is not a weeb episode, but we have a lot of weebs within our channel, within our chat. So at some point in the future, when we have some time, maybe we'll pop up some.
Hey,
fun,
man.
weeb
Krillin might not have a nose, man, but he snagged 18. So who's winning?
Well, he couldn't smell when she was burning out. So please remind peeps to stay frosty and double check and think before you click. The scams are getting better every day and look damn good. Almost caught me slipping today. Bets and crypto, it's a really good point. We can't be too unsure of what we click on. We can't be too unsure of where we send our crypto to. Double, triple check your addresses, do test transactions, and double and triple check what you're clicking on, because there are a lot of scammers out there. And the deeper we go into the bull market, they're going to get better and better, and they're going to get more and more of them because they're going to. Because why is that? We're getting a lot of newer people into the space that are chasing candles, that are wanting to trade. Right? Once retail gets in, they don't know about scams. They don't know about all this stuff, and so it's much easier to catch some of them making money, and therefore there's a lot of them out there. So yeah, stay. Also, it's why we need to have multiple wallets, right? We've had episodes in the past on security, so go back and watch those. But yeah, that's a really good reminder to everybody out there.
And hey, you know what, guys? Because a lot of these exchanges now allow you to transfer natively to other chains, it literally costs you nothing to be careful. Right? It cost me 0 to send a transaction to AVAX the other day. It cost me 0 to send a test transaction to Base, 0. So it literally costs you nothing to be careful. So be careful, right? As vets say, stay frosty out there, man. You do not want to lose your money at this stage of the bull market, man. Because, my gosh, God help you if you do.
Condom wallets, yep. Get some packages of those condom wallets so you can strap them on anytime you want to test out a new site or test out a new project that you're not quite sure about. Very, very safe. Okay, so enough with that weeb talk. But by the way, Krillin was one of my favorite characters when I first started watching Dragon Ball Z. So I found him hilarious. But and shout out to the Android saga. Android and Cell Saga together was really the best of the best when it comes to Dragon Ball Z.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. No love for Yamcha, bro.
I mean, he's fine.
And Yamcha got nuked, man. Vegeta swooped in, stole his lady.
Yeah, seriously.
God damn.
Okay. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't particularly love paying taxes when the government isn't using my tax dollars in an efficient or worthwhile manner.
Yep.
So while I have to pay my taxes, I wish that I didn't have to pay as many because I don't feel like they're going to good use. And so when the government says, hey, we want to increase taxes, I don't really care who they're trying to increase taxes on, because I know that's always going to just trickle down to me. I know that they're never going to reduce my taxes. And so just taxing somebody else means, hey, look at the disparity between the high earners and the low earners. So we can tax the low earners a little bit more too. There's always hurting everybody. So there's an article here from Watcher Guru saying President Biden calls for a 44.6% capital gains tax rate. that could be as soon as the 2025 government budget, which would be the highest capital gains tax in history. Now, this is for what they consider high net worth individuals that also make high earnings on investments. So I think you need to make over $1 million, and you need to be making at least $400,000 in investments. Now, I don't know about you, but $1 million isn't worth what it used to be. You got a family of 6, man. How you gonna feed your kids if you got less than $1 million in 10 years or 20 years or 30 years? Now keep in mind, $1 million now versus $1 million 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, or 20 years from now. Well, that if they pass this and that still sticks in place, who's that going to hurt? That's going to hurt every single person. And of course, again, they say that they're going to tax the rich more so that they can take taxes away from the poor. But I have yet to see that ever happen, and I would be very surprised if it did. So let me ask you guys. President Biden wants to increase on high-earned individuals 44.6% capital gains tax for 2025. What do you feel about that? Is it fair that the upper class pays more taxes because they make more?
Yes.
Is this a fair statute?
Yes. Take away everyone's money and give it to the government. They will treat it very well, and they will do very great things with it.
Because the government knows exactly how to use your money better than you do. Is that right, Will?
Yes. Yes, they're very wise.
Will, are you saying that if the government made more money, but if the government made more money, they'd have less debt, right?
If the government made more money, then they would make more money. And they can do that. Remember, ladies and gentlemen,
they did it a
there's
few years
an infinite
ago.
amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
And then there's
So
that
question, Will.
dancing.
So what you're saying, if I understand you correctly, that high earning individuals are better for the economy because they can use their money in smart ways or smarter ways than a government spending their money on what they deem is important.
No, not at all. The government's much smarter than the people that make money. Because the government's way, think about how much money the government makes, Bean. The government makes an infinite amount of money. So they're much smarter than all these people who have to go out and earn their money the old fashioned and hard way by providing products and services. So I think that the government should get,
by providing value.
Correct. Yes. So that's my stance. The government should tax everyone a whole lot more, for sure. For the folks at home who don't know, I hate the government, and I also hate taxes. And so,
and now they're coming after you.
All of this is jest and all that stuff. So if you want to come after me, go for it. I wish the FBI agent a very good luck in finding me. Just kidding. It's pretty easy to find me. All he has to do is
go to this t.me.
Yeah, just go to t.me/Hex Meetups. Become a Hexican. Hey, become a Hexican. Stake some Hex out Cuatro Cinco, and then it's probably pretty easy to find me because I'll be like, "Yo, dude, what's up?" And then I'll hang out, and then you can just take me straight to jail. So excellent. It's probably super easy.
You say Cuatro Cinco?
Yep. Cuatro Cinco, baby, just like this.
Hey, no, I like, to kind of bring this back around though. I think this is absolutely stupid. How are you able to get ahead anymore? You really can't, because with these types of taxes going up, Democrats, and then also you got like 20% inflation getting taken completely out of your paychecks and all that. You're not making anything to get ahead anymore. You hit this point where it's basically every single paycheck you have is enough to pay whatever bills you have, and then you're done. And the idea is always like, just live below your means. But when you start getting to the point where below your means is having rent for shelter, right? Having a loan for a vehicle, even if it's all beat up, just like maybe it was like a $2,000 vehicle, right? You still got to take out a loan for it. And so now you got to drive that thing around, okay, to get to your job that's now paying you just enough to pay for those things. It's literal slavery, and it's absolute BS. And then you start looking at, let's go ahead and throw this out there for everybody watching, right? Let's do a little bit of numbers, okay? So if I go ahead and I make $1 million, right? Let's say I throw $20,000 into crypto and it goes up to $1 million. Bam. Wow. I've really done it, right? I've done a great job. Okay. Now they're going to be taking almost 50% of that. Very close too. Okay. You've got a goddamn $440,000 check out of your $1 million that you're writing and just like, here, mister, you take it. Thank you, Uncle Sam. You do such a good job. What the
That's
fuck,
not
dude?
that's just the cap gains, man. That's not taking into consideration your state taxes, your income taxes, Medicare, Social Security. None of that's taken into consideration yet, man. And Bean, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he also want to impose a 25% unrealized gains tax on the American people as well?
There was some talk about that. It's interesting because I read that at one point, but it is not currently in the article that we were reading. So I don't know if they removed that because it was not accurate, but it isn't. Oh, sorry. I saw that in a tweet. It was in their tweet.
Yeah, it was on a tweet.
25% unrealized gains. Correct.
Yeah.
So question. So you get 25% tax on any gains, and then when you sell, you get 44.6% tax. Is that how it works? Like,
yeah, that's how it works.
So you get 75% tax.
Yeah. They just stack it on top of each other, man.
But
and
also,
see, here's
how
the
do you
thing.
tax on realized gains? Like, they're not. You don't know if you've gained anything until you've sold anything.
They just tax it. If your investment went up $1 million, even if you don't take profit, the end of the calendar
what if
year
it goes down? Do you get your money back?
Well, you see how funny that is, Brendan. In his speech, did you hear any mention of being able to take advantage of any tax benefits? I didn't. And Mr. Joe Biden, most popular president in history, if you guys didn't know, has also proposed reducing the amount, or actually outright eliminating the ability of people to to perform any kind of tax loss harvesting. He doesn't want that, right? So not only is he proposing a higher capital gains tax, he is also proposing that you get taxed on your unrealized gains. And then a few months back, I think sometime last year, also proposed that you can't, you certainly shouldn't have the ability to do any kind of tax harvesting either. Can't have that, right? So he just, Mr. Popular, Mr. Best President of all time, he just wants to take all of your money and leave you with basically nothing, right? Look, I'm like Will. I don't like taxes. I understand the purpose of taxes, right? We all of us here use public facilities that the government keeps running, so I understand that. Yeah, sure, we should pay a portion of those taxes to help keep those things running. But that's about as much as you're gonna get from me, bro.
Jay, my taxes here with where I'm living at paints rainbows on the sidewalks.
Yeah. And
Right.
See, that's the thing, right? Depending on where you're living, you can see exactly where your tax dollars are going to. And what's that old saying? No taxation without representation. When you see somebody painting the sidewalks rainbow color, yeah, no taxation without representation. And you're like, that shit does not represent me. Why the fuck are you taking my tax money and spending on this nonsense? Right? So a lot of gray area there. But I mean, I understand the purpose of them. Right? But the reason why I became an entrepreneur is because entrepreneurs pay themselves first, right? There's nothing more I hated seeing than working 6-7 days a week, like breaking my back out in the fucking sun, and then realizing that the person who put their fucking hands in that pile of money first was Uncle Sam. He saw that money and took his cut before you even got to see a dime, right? So no on increasing the capital gains tax, Mr. Popular. You can put that where the sun don't shine.
You know, it's a good point. You guys all bring good points. It's interesting because we know that the government spends a lot of money, trillions, and we don't see how it gets spent. It's also interesting that if you look, even Congress sometimes brings up exorbitant prices that they have to pay contractors, or if they have to pay for something because, for example, like airplane parts, right? They have to buy from approved companies. And those approved companies can price gouge them because there's no fair competition. And so governments are paying exorbitant amounts of prices on things that you and I could buy at a Home Depot for like 0.1% less, thousands of percent less. And so there's a lot of things that in the government are just really, really unfortunate. You know, it'd be great if all of the transactions and all of the purchases that are made by government organizations were put on a blockchain. Because then every single person could see what was being spent and what it was being spent on, and maybe could make recommendations on how they could better spend their money in a more worthwhile way. You know, I hate to say, but Mr. Robert Kennedy Jr. has suggested that if he becomes president, he is going to put all of the government transactions on a public blockchain. Well, I don't think that will happen, even if he were to get elected president. I love the thought process about it. I love the thought of the government being accountable to the people who they're supposed to be serving.
Absolutely, man. I think one of the most valuable propositions about the blockchain technology is that it is you can audit it, right? Remember when we were talking about the thought experiment that if you went down to your local Chase branch and you asked to see their books, they'd probably tell you to go take a hike. But I think, like I said, it's a pipe dream, right? I don't think that's going to be ever possible. But RFK is certainly winning fans over when he makes statements like that, right? Because I think all of us here, including everybody in the chat, would like our federal government to be a bit more responsible, a bit more accountable, right? But to kind of round off the conversation, you do not deserve the fruits of the labor that you did not do, and you certainly fucking do not deserve the gains from risk that you did not fucking take. You did not take the risk with us, Uncle Sam, Mr. Joe Biden. You did not do the research. You did not invest the capital. You certainly didn't perform the labor to acquire the capital to invest in an asset class that might just completely rug you tomorrow, right now. So if we make $1 million, multi-million dollars out of our investments, guess what? You don't get to tax our unrealized gains, and you certainly don't deserve 44% of our shit, bro. Fuck out of here. That's all I have to say.
It's the reason why so many people are basically going to start fleeing the country.
Yeah, you damn right.
You vote with your feet, baby.
Yeah, vote with your feet. Can you fault people to like getting the fuck out of the United States to go to places where they're a little bit more favored, right? Where the value that they provide to society is actually praised, and they're like, yeah, you know what? Bring your capital here, bring your skills here, bring your goods and services here, right? Like, you still have to pay a tax, but we're certainly not going to ask for 50%.
Those of you that want to learn how to get out of the United States, hit up Randy Hilarski. Big shout out to Randy Hilarski. He moved out of the States, renounced his citizenship, and now resides over in Panama, where it's kick-ass and awesome. He talks about it quite frequently on many channels and how cool it is and how much he loves it. So if you guys want to leave the States for good, that's a good resource. Also, the nomad capitalist Andrew Henderson is another good resource for that. And there's people all over the place, people all up inside the crypto community space that talk about good tax havens and good places to go. So I would look at it as a high leverage or low leverage event. You can spend your whole life trying to change the political system of the world that you live in, or you can vote with your feet and you can immediately move to a place that treats you better.
Yeah.
Right. It just depends on what your goals are. Some people like the place that they live and they want to change it. Some people are more interested in exercising freedom, and so they leave and they just adapt to newer places, like whatever folks want. But that's my 2 cents on that.
Agreed, bro. And that's coming from somebody who served his country, right? That's coming from people who love the United States. I fucking love this country, man. Gonna go on record here. I love the United States more than I love the Philippines, bro.
Oh yeah.
But if shit keeps going the way that it's going here, yeah, you best believe I'm gonna fucking consider getting the hell out of here.
It's just too expensive to live here, and it's expensive for no reason. It's not like, people are willing to pay the more expensive prices and everything of living in a certain country because, maybe it's beautiful. There's a lot of good resources here. It's really powerful, whatever, right? United States exemplifies all of that, right? But the problem that people keep running into is all these stupid things they're paying for, which is like super taxes, right? If I'm going to have my own business and I take any kind of profits, or if I'm a trader and I made a really good trade and all of a sudden I have to pay 50% of that all the way back, and that's not even including all the other things, right? Just right off the bat, like, people don't want to be here because of that alone,
Are you sure?
There's a
I
lot
don't
of
see
the
people, I don't
OGs
see
right
people
now that are
leaving.
in
I
Puerto
don't see
Rico.
anybody leaving the United States. I'm sorry. No one's leaving the United States. Everybody's coming here in droves because you still have the most opportunity to make money, you have the most opportunity to be successful, and you have the most opportunity to better your life and your family's life here in the United States and any other fucking country in the world. So
Mhm.
You know what's
I agree
hilarious
with you in
about
some
that, though,
sense, but I
Brendan?
disagree with it in another.
You know what's hilarious about that, Brendan?
In.
The only
rich
people who are coming in are the people who've made the money are leaving. Like a lot of the Hex OGs have already gone over to like Puerto Rico and stuff. They've left. If you make the money, you leave. But if
Bro,
you don't have the money, you come in.
I don't want to leave. I don't care
Speaking
how much
of,
money I
bro,
have.
speaking of, they fucking tax you when you try to leave too.
Yep.
They tax you when you live in another country, dude.
Yeah, even if your
United
primary
States.
residence is not in the
Yep.
United States, bro. If you're a citizen and you're living in another country, you still gotta fucking pay taxes here, bro.
Renounce your citizenship in order to not be. The United States is the only country that taxes you outside, like for making money outside of the United States.
Yep.
So,
But yo, I will agree with Bean, right? 100%. There is a reason why people come here in droves because America is still the land of opportunity. There's more opportunity here than exists in any other fucking place in the world. We're the freest, richest, most welcoming, most open country in the fucking world, even with our strict border policy. Well, maybe not now because of Joe.
Compared to other places, I mean, I don't know.
All right, but when you finally take advantage and fulfill and get the fruits of the labor from that opportunity, then you might want to consider.
yep, that is time
Then
to
you
go.
might want to consider renouncing the citizenship.
You know, I'm the type of person that always wants to better. You know, for example, like you all know that I'm a Catholic. You know, I'm not, and a lot of bad things happened within the Catholic Church for many years. That doesn't make me not want to be Catholic. That makes me want to have a more transparent leadership, and I want to fight for what that church is supposed to be, what that church was built upon over 2,000 years ago. And so it's the same thing for this country. Like I didn't fight for my country like Will did, and thank you, Will, for your service. Thank you, Vets in Crypto. Thank you, so many people that are in our community that fought for this country. But it does make me want to work to make this place better. And it does make me want to fight a little bit for our freedoms. And even if it's just having a show like this, talking to like-minded people and, you know, trying to free people from that slave mindset, I think that those are things that are really important to me. And yes, you could say I could do that in other countries, but man, I have so much patriotism. I love the United States. So unless they truly push me out, like, look, like you said, if I'm making $1 million and they want to tax me 50+%, well, man, it's gonna be really hard to say that I have to stay here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, $1 million, again, we've talked about, isn't that much money. And in 10 years from now, it's going to be even less money because we have very high inflation. And 20 years from now, that's going to be even less money. So do you think
thought it was only 3%, Brendan, or 3.5%? Wasn't that
3%?
Right?
Yeah,
only 3%. I don't know. It's not what my wallet's telling me. But
Gnosis wheel, it's only 3%.
But no, look, if they set it $1 million now, it's not like in 10 years when inflation's up 30% from today that they're going to change that $1 million to 1.3 million. It's still going to be $1 million. So now the people that are today earning, you know, 1.5 million or sorry, whatever, I guess 1.5 million. Yeah, it's going to be just as bad for everybody. So it is bad. It is bad. It is bad. And that's why vote in your elections, do your own research, figure out who is going to be the most for the people. I'm not going to say vote for the person who is for the people because I don't think either party are fully for the people. But I do think that there are some candidates that are much worse than others for our freedoms. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Agreed.
Okay. So less taxes, more responsibility, and more transparency from our government is what I am asking for. Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
We need a soundbite from Stone Cold Steve Austin, man.
Well, if I had 2 beers right now, I would smash them and pour them over myself. So I don't. So that's very sad. Will, what you got there? A walking stick?
This is my mace.
Oh, that's a mace. Yeah. Okay. I love that thing.
Dude, I was out. So I was hanging out with my buddy over in Colombia, and he took me to an old abandoned rock quarry, and he did it while I was doing like my mace exercises and swinging and shit. And I was like, oh snap, this rock quarry is full of like cool rocks. I'm gonna hit these rocks with my mace. And I found some flint, And like, look at what the flint did to this. Like, I don't know if you can see it very well, but this is a giant like chunk just like indented into this solid steel ball. Like I smacked a rock and the rock beat my mace. So that was pretty cool. Flint is really sharp and very, very hard. So I thought that was awesome.
Flint is how you start fires.
It sparked. And after I hit it enough times, it exploded like into little tiny chunks everywhere. But it was super cool.
Your rock exploded?
Yeah, the rock exploded after like I put stress fractures in it enough that like it shattered into a million pieces. But the first strike was on like a sharp tip, and that's what caused this dent in the steel. So
wow,
it was pretty cool.
Bean, you see a Chronix comment right there? Man's trying to do some good work.
I do. I will pull that up in a minute. I think Miss Producer just stepped away, so when she gets back, we will pull that up. But yeah, the thing is, we all have, at least I could talk for all of us on the DGen Roundtable, we all have things that we want to do to better people's lives, to better the world. We'd love to help better our country if we can. But if at some point, if you can't do it and they're not going to allow you to, then yeah, you have to consider other options or other opportunities. Yeah. But I'm not at that place yet. Although it seems like in the world, it's not just the United States, right? We're still there's still a lot worse places and less free places to be.
That is very much true. There's a lot of spots that like when you're talking about like, $1 million is not going to be $1 million pretty soon, and all that. There's a lot of places elsewhere in the world where you can go where $1 million is a lot of money and you can live a very good life very cheaply, and the laws are all good and all that, and it's still good enough living, right? However, some place like I was looking at was Malaysia. Basically, you your dollar for every dollar, it's like 25 cents there, right? Or reverse that. I think I'm confusing myself, but it's a lot cheaper there, right? It's a quarter of the price to actually be able to live there. So it'd be a place like that. Oh yeah, and no capital gains tax. And so that'd be a place that you would want to go and actually live. And they're right next to Singapore as well. So there's some really good infrastructure out in that area. Things like that. I really believe people need to start looking around personally.
Yeah, it's interesting. You say Malaysia, but I've heard some people take their money and go to the Philippines. I hear it's a beautiful country. Here, other than it being a little warm at times and high humidity, it can be a pretty affordable country to live in. Jay, you got any insight there?
It is a beautiful country. You just got to deal with the humidity. You got to deal with a few hurricanes sometimes. But it is. When I left, Philippines was still a third world country. It is now bustling and thriving. In fact, we have so many people that I think I told the story before, but we are so overpopulated back in my home country that there are only certain license plates that can be on the road on certain days, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many cars on the road, there's so much public transportation that you just can't fit all the vehicles. We are so overpopulated in the Philippines, right? The Mall of Asia is there, the second largest mall in the world. It's become a tourist hotspot. So it's definitely a wonderful place to live. Certainly cheap. The Filipino people love Americans, right? You're not going to get any hate down there. And English is the second language taught in schools. So you'll be just fine, bro. Like you can speak English there. People will understand you. You don't have to speak a single word of Tagalog and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You could live your entire life there, not understand the language, just speak English and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. It's interesting. I don't want to get off topic, but they're not the only country that doesn't have the infrastructure to allow cars to drive. It's actually very similar in Colombia and in other South American countries where you can only drive, like you said, certain license plates on certain days. But who does that benefit? It benefits the rich because all they do is buy more cars so that they can drive different license plates on different days and it never affects them. It only affects poor people.
Yep.
And so those types of policies are issues, especially in Colombia and some of these South American countries. Why don't they have the infrastructure to keep up with their increase in growth population? Well, it's because they have tyrannical and corrupt governments. And so therefore, instead of taking the money that they should have been using, here we're back to, governments misusing funds. But, they didn't build the infrastructure with their citizens' money like they were supposed to. They used it for their own uses, their own reasons, and for own personal gain. And that's the problem. And so how do you now, when you're 10 years behind on infrastructure upgrades or 20 years behind on infrastructure upgrades, when you now have, 12 million people in Bogota and you have infrastructure for 5 million. How do you fix that? You know, it's really challenging. So
It's playing catch up, man.
I hear you there, brother.
Yeah. Hey, you know how you fix that? So my uncle Jeff, rest his soul. He was a government official in the Philippines, and the last time I visited, and he took us on his G-Wagon through the very crowded roads of the Philippines. This man had a police siren and a megaphone on his fucking G-Wagon. And every single time when he hit traffic, he just pressed that button, man. They can't get him now because, you know, he's passed, but I figured I'd share that story because it was hilarious. You're muted, sir. Mr. Bean.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. We don't suggest impersonating police officers here in the United States because you're very much trouble.
Oh, you get in trouble. In the Philippines, though, if you have money, you can do it.
like many countries, if you have the money, you can do whatever you want.
Yep.
Okay, let's give us a few more community shout outs before we get into the next topic. Farmer Brown, you have a homeless guy read to you in exchange for 2 tall cans? My man. He didn't even say if those cans were empty. He already drank them and just gave the guy 10 cents. I don't know. Dre Sims, what's up, brother? Great to see you as always. A stalwart in the chat. Appreciate your insights. Crypto Chronic, what is happening? Love that you are. Yes, Marshmallow Man. Well, you missed the beginning of that, so you have to go back and watch the replay. But I said Android 19 was the hottest of the Androids, and Jay had to pull up a picture of my joke. And also don't forget to look at his head. Also looks like he's wearing a condom on the top of his head. But yes, Dace. Sorry, we don't have you here, brother, but thanks for tuning in. Funk Master Hex. Cheers, brother. I don't have anything to cheers you with, but thank you for popping in. SMO Spider. Check out Cal Washington and see what they are doing. Do claim on liabilities. Very.
I've not seen SMO Spider in the chat before, so I think they're new to the DRT. Welcome.
Yeah, and
last Friday, a book club. Everybody was. I think Tam and her cheerleaders were coming in here.
Gotcha.
Appreciate you so much, Spider.
Yes. Well, SMO Spider, she also said, you guys are awesome. Gracias. Well, you are even awesomer. So,
hey, if you're a friend of Tam, you're a friend of ours. So welcome.
Exactly. And my friend of Tam is a friend of the channel. So, welcome. Thank you for tuning in, and hope you do enjoy our content and stick around for more episodes because we got a lot more to talk about over these coming weeks. And like, let's not forget, you know, we've been in a bull market now for a while, but we've really barely touched the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the possibility of where this bull market goes. I mean, who would have thought that we get to around Bitcoin's all-time high, and it's like almost a support level now, right? The all-time high is soon going to be a support level. Now, maybe we have some downward trends before that happens, but I mean, I'm just talking about in generalities, right? Like, who would have thought that we'd already be here up so high in the 60s for such a long period of time? And we
higher than Farmer J, bro.
What's that?
Higher than Farmer J.
Yeah, higher than Farmer J. yeah. But if his bags keep going up, he might have enough money to even higher. So
he might go into business with Billy, bro.
Billy, yes. So that's interesting. But yeah. So my whole point of this is stay tuned. We have a lot of information we're going to give you through the dips, through the rises, through the gains. We're going to try to keep you as even keeled as possible so that you don't burn out. So you don't put all your money into a scam, into a rug, that you keep your core bags intact so that you can reap the rewards as we continue on. I mean, people that have been in the Pulse Chain ecosystem for a while now, I know it, we even in our chat, people that have been in there for a while are starting to feel, a little bit of the worry. But I'm not worried at all. In fact, I just get more excited every day. So we are there to help you keep even keeled because we have been through it all. We have been through the ups and the downs. We have been through the scams. We've been through the rugs. We have made our mistakes, and we're here to help you reduce yours. Now, that doesn't mean you won't make mistakes because scars give you the most opportunities to learn. But we don't like to see people getting wrecked. We don't like to see people getting hurt. So we are here. Oh, Brown, higher than Hunter Biden is his goal.
Bro, he's gonna need a lot of fucking cocaine. He's gonna need a lot of cocaine, Mr. Brown, if you want to match that boy.
I live in Miami, so no comment here.
Noble goals. Noble goals.
Okay, so let us get to our next topic. In fact, I think this might be one of my two top topics for the day. Consensus. Who is Consensus? Well, they are the ones that operate Metamask. They're one of their products. And Consensus was given a Wells notice from the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. Now, what is a Wells notice? A Wells notice is a letter sent by a securities regulator to a prospective respondent notifying him or them or the company of subsequent charges.
Or they.
Okay.
We're inclusive here, goddammit.
I said company, they, isn't that a they? Isn't a company
Sir?
people?
You're gonna get so canceled, bro.
They, okay, or they, I don't even know what that means. Yes. So essentially they're giving them a letter saying, hey, these are some charges that we are going to potentially be bringing against you, or really going to be bringing against you. So do you want to give us a written statement before that happens? And Consensus said, you know what? Fuck your written statements. We're doing this in court. So they clapped back and said, you can't sue me because I'm suing you. And honestly, I thought that was a really brilliant play on part of Consensus. It was almost like they were expecting this or thought it could happen at some point and had already had a plan in place, that maybe what you might call a smart contract in place to click when this happens. So it's interesting. I think this is a huge opportunity for crypto to maybe give the final beatdown to the SEC. Now, we have a lot of court cases, right? Currently, we have Coinbase being sued, Richard Hart being sued. We have the SEC taking L's after L's, gross negligence, lawyers getting fired because they're lying in cases against companies and individuals. So they are really, what's that?
Yeah, I remember the few lawyers that walked out over the last few weeks from the SEC because they were like, we'd rather walk out than get fired. We know we're about to get fired anyway.
Yeah, well, it was like get out or we get fired. Now, I hope it goes one step forward. I hope that they lose their license to practice because they deserve to. Anytime that you are having gross negligence in a case, that is the bars for removal from the Bar Association. So I hope that happens to them, because if it was the SEC telling them to do that or not, those lawyers made the decisions to give those false statements and false testimony over and over again, right? It wasn't just a one thing. So yeah, so this is really big. Jay, give me your first thoughts on Consensus and their clap back against the SEC, filing a lawsuit before the SEC could charge them.
Yeah, so to be quite honest with you, when I read I don't know all the details, right? So my exposure to this is the article that we have read over here. But the preliminary reading that I have done, I actually think the Consensus is pretty smart in how they're handling the situation. So their primary attack on the SEC is actually over unlawful seizure of authority over Ethereum, right? The SEC's Wells notice and potential suit against not just Consensus and MetaMask, but against Coinbase, against Ripple, against all of these other different companies is predicated on the idea that Ethereum is a security, right? And so because Consensus is going after them for unlawful seizure of authority over Ethereum, in layman's terms, at least the way that I interpreted this, right, and how the article explains it, is that Consensus is basically telling or asking the judge who will be presiding over this particular case, asking them that, look, the SEC does not have jurisdiction over Ethereum. Therefore, any claims that Ethereum is a security by the SEC is inaccurate, which means any type of litigation that the SEC is trying to levy against us and others is basic. It doesn't have any foundation to stand on because because Ethereum is not a security, which and then they leaned on obviously the statements by Hinman, which was he was the prior chair of the SEC, talking about how no security, Ethereum is not a security. And then they also deferred to the CFTC, right? The Communities Futures
Commodities Future
yeah,
Trading.
commodities, right? forgive me, I the full acronym escapes me, but they believe obviously that the jurisdiction of Ethereum and basically all other crypto assets, aside from a select few, falls within their jurisdiction, right? The CFTC. And then, so like me personally, I think that's a pretty damn good move, right? By consensus, by the consensus team, because if Ethereum is not considered a security, any claims and any litigation that Gary and the rest of his team are trying to levy against all of these different companies basically falls apart, right? They also spoke about how I think that they also consensus also tried to lean back on the open, I believe it's called the open questions doctrine. Let me double check here what the major questions doctrine, but unfortunately because of the prior case with Terraform Labs and Coinbase, that's probably going to get thrown out, right? Because the major questions doctrine basically implies that it is a Supreme Court ruling that bars federal regulators from dramatically exceeding the scope of their congressional mandates. Now, obviously, in this case, right, the SEC does have like that statement that Ethereum is a security does have like, there's reasonable doubt there. And so that's going to get thrown out, right? Because if there's reasonable doubt, then our lawmakers are obligated to pursue it, right? And so that's probably going to get thrown out. But on a base case, I think consensus made a very strong like opening, like an opening jab, so to speak.
Yeah, Jay, I just want to give a little bit more background on that. So the illegal seizure, right? We're talking essentially like the Fourth Amendment, illegal search and seizure of personal property. So if Ethereum is considered a commodity, then that is essentially something very different than a security, and therefore the SEC doesn't have the ability to seize that, right? That is legal. I just want to give a brief history lesson. A shout out to James Otis. James Otis argued back when we were under tyrannical rule of the English Parliament against the writs of assistance, which was when anybody that was a British soldier could come into your house and they could take any goods that they considered untaxed, and they could just take them. They didn't need a warrant. They didn't need anything. They could just say, hey, that's untaxed goods. Give that to me. In addition to that, any soldier that asked to be put up by a citizen had to be not only put up by a citizen, but fed and clothed. So there was a big argument by James Otis saying that is, you need due process to be able to do that. So that argument, even though he lost against that British Parliament that day, James Otis and what he stood for was what sort of the basis of what created the Fourth Amendment and keeps us now from illegal search and seizure. So essentially, what consensus is saying is that the SEC is overstepping their grounds and essentially going against the Fourth Amendment in regards to what is considered a commodity, or what should be considered a commodity for the CTFC, which is the Commodity Trading Futures Commission. CFTC, sorry, Commodity Futures Trading Commission. And so that's a little bit of a background history of where that comes from. And I think, like you said, it's a really smart thing because, anytime that we talk about an amendment, anytime that we talk about a government agency potentially overstepping their grounds, that's a serious offense. And so what they're saying is a serious offense. And we know that this continues to come up against the SEC, that they're overstepping the grounds of what they were, created and set up to do. And so it's really interesting. And like I said, I agree with you that is a really good first place to stay. But furthermore, if what they say, the judge agrees, it's going to help everybody moving forward. So I think it's a really, really important fight that they're taking to the courts. And so good on consensus. And they're still going to have to put up a lot of money. They're going to have to fight the SEC. But look, we should be banding together. We shouldn't be arguing like some people when Richard Hart got served papers by the SEC. They were laughing like, "Oh, good, he's a scammer. He should, don't take the side of corrupt, tyrannical governments." I'm not saying that everything the government does is tyrannical and corrupt, but the SEC very often what they have been doing is tyrannical and corrupt. And therefore, we need to band together against that corruption as a community, as a country, and say this isn't right. And we shouldn't be infighting because we don't like someone personally, and therefore we want to see them fail, because it's going to help you sleep at night. No,
Mhm.
we want truth to be told, and we want the people that are being unjustly brought to court or unjustly served by the SEC. Look, I'm going to back them. I'm even backing Uniswap, who's done a lot of shit that I think was wrong within the crypto community. I think them delisting Hex after Richard Hart got served was an atrocity. So I hope that now that they're getting served in almost every coin on their platform, look, I hope that does that mean they're going to delist all their coins? We're not going to go down that rabbit hole again. Go watch a few episodes ago. We did talk about that. But my point is we should be banding together, even if I have a little bit of anger towards some of the things that these people have done. I'm not going to take the side of the SEC, and I want the people that are fighting the SEC in these cases to win. Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
Agreed.
it's on a tangent there, but passion.
No,
Good tangent.
it's a good tangent, man. And here's what I got to say on that, right? This is something that I want to say is was kind of one of the turnoffs for a while with me and Hexicans, right? Is because it's like Hex only and that's it. But here's the thing, like we're in a bigger battle right now. Let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit, okay, guys? We're in the they fight you phase, okay? And what the government realized is that crypto was going too fast, right? Advancing too fast, and so they sent their dog, the SEC, to try and slow it down. And the SEC just wildly started saying, "You're getting sued. You're getting sued. You're getting sued." You know, just Oprah Winfrey over here. And so, what we need to do as crypto people, right? If we're in crypto, it doesn't matter if you're into Cardano, it doesn't matter if you're into Phantom, it doesn't matter if you're a Bitcoin maxi, it doesn't matter if you're a Hexican. Right now, the battle is crypto versus freedom, right? Or crypto and freedom, sorry, versus the totalitarian of governments, right? And so that's what's going on right now. And what we need to do, kind of like how we're trying to all get together for New York City in October, right? That is us as Hexicans specifically coming out and saying, "Hey, we are standing up for this," right? And just like consensus right now, I think this is kind of a turning point. Kind of consensus is basically like, okay, you guys are gonna sue us, fuck that, and then they're just turning around and swinging right away, right? It's kind of like what I mean. If you were to think about it in a physical sense, right? The SEC kind of gives you a jab, right? And the consensus is like, oh hell no, and just instantly is like just comes in with a right hook, right? They don't care. They're like at this point, it's no longer you know, we're trying to slow you down. At this point, we're full on like fighting each other at this point. And that's why this type of thing is so important to keep track of. You know, obviously, you know, I love Pulse, you know, I love Phantom, I love Hex and all that. And we're gonna be working within these networks and all that, and just kind of doing our own thing. But at the same time, we need to make sure that we're peering out, right? Kind of like what we're doing today, and our talk here. We need to make sure we're keeping track of this stuff, because this is everybody that gets affected by it. You know, I mean, I don't like XRP. I never really did. Not my cup of joe. But for them to win the case against the SEC was the spark, right? Bam, we are going to start beating them. What happened after that? Loss after loss after loss after loss. So what we need to do is we need to band together as crypto people in general. And here's the thing too. I want to go ahead and put this on kind of like what does it actually mean, right? So if all of us Pulsicans, Hexicans, you know, band together the way that we have been doing, like trying to get together in October, right? And we start like cheering on all these other networks, these crypto bros are going to be looking at these people like, what's with you people? And you know, the cult people, if you want to, yeah, who are you people? Who you? But they're gonna be looking at like the cult of Hex, right? And they're gonna be like, what are these guys doing? Oh, they are for freedom. And what is it that we like to say all the time? We are true decentralized finance, right? That is freedom. So by us, all of us here, supporting these other networks, these other projects and things that isn't even like Pulse Chain related, by supporting them, we're now coming out as like the big cheerleaders, so to say, and then the fighters of the entirety of the crypto sector. All right. And we are for freedom, and we're going to guide it towards freedom.
Yeah, Nate, before anybody else hops in, I want to add something to that. I think you bring up a really good point in regards to we are sort of the first step into fighting the SEC, right? If Richard Hart wins, there's a much better case that that Uniswap's going to win, right? There's a much better case that consensus is going to win. And, you know, if we want these companies like Uniswap, Metamask already supports Pulse Chain, but, you know, these large companies in these other communities to, you know, come into Pulse Chain and bring their assets in here and buy things and play in the sphere, because it is a great protocol, it's a great platform, it's a great L1 that Richard built. We want to be the first and foremost out there saying, hey, we are fighting for all of you. We're here to support all of you. And we want to do this as a community, a crypto community, not just as Pulse Chain, not just as Hex, not just as Richard Hart coins, but we're here for all of crypto. We are fighting for all of crypto. And, you know, we don't want to be shunned by the community because you think we're something that we're not, because we have a lot of smart people in this space. We have a lot of people that are working. We have a lot of people that are building. And we have arguably the best founder that is fighting for the freedom and fighting for the people of the United States, by the way, in a country that he hasn't even been in 25 plus years. So, yeah, look,
I did visit a few years ago.
Okay, you know what, Jay? Visit's maybe the wrong word. Lived, okay, is really what I was trying to say. But lived is the word that I was looking for. Thank you, not visited. But you know, I think that we can really put a statement out there to the other communities and how we band together and how we fight for crypto and how we fight for freedom, and be the first ones to do that. Maybe not the first, but you know, the first is a community to band together to go to the court to support Richard Hart. You know, to really fight against the SEC. And here we are, right? Telling about why we think this is important, why we think the SEC is overstepping their constitutional mandate, and why they are going against, you know, their mandate of regulation, because they're not actually putting any regulatory framework into place when they're being asked to by these crypto centralized exchanges. So how can you say, yeah, we can regulate you if there's no actual regulations or framework to regulate? Will, anything you want to add to this consensus topic?
I like the direction that it's going, where it's like the corruption is spreading out and trying to infect more and more things. I like to see it, because then we get to see who is going to flop over and capitulate and who is going to stand back and fight. And like you guys were saying about the communities being active and stuff, it's good to see. So, like, while I'm not fond of the idea of like people coming and trying to ruin our stuff, I do like the general concept of being tested and like seeing the resolution of the things that are made, you know, just like a lock that's never like tugged on a gate, or a car alarm that's never, you know, tested before it leaves the factory or something. Like, things need to be tested. People need to be yeah, so that's just my general thought on this, but I like where you guys are going with it. So you're basically covering all the things I would say.
Yeah, we spoke about the being tested thing,
Yep.
like I think a few months back, right?
Yes, we
Why
did.
Bitcoin needs, and you know, to kind of add on to what Nate said and what Bean said. Look, you don't have to like all these other communities, right? Like, you don't have to. I know a lot of Hexicans and Pulsicans might have felt shafted, probably more than a little bit, by what Uniswap did, what MetaMask did, not getting an exchange listing on.
There's a bunch.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them, right? You don't have to like how they treated us, right? And nobody does. But at the end of the day, if you're going to come up here and start cheering for the downfall of Coinbase, the downfall of XRP, the downfall of Consensus, the downfall of Uniswap, you also have to contextualize what the downfall of those major companies within the space, what the ramifications are for the rest of crypto. If all of those companies go down, do you think Pulse Chain is still going to be standing? Right? The answer is no, right? The slim chance that it might be, right? But if all of the, like, I mean, let's just take Coinbase, for example, right? It's the largest centralized exchange here in the United States now. The Binance is out, right? The CZ is potentially going to serve 3 years in prison. So, if Coinbase goes down, what the fuck do you think happens to the crypto environment here in the West, right? This is the biggest company basically here in the United States fighting for crypto. Despite what type of way you might feel about Armstrong, about Coinbase, they are actually putting their money where their mouth is. They're putting money into the legal battle against the SEC, right? So you don't have to like these people, right? But the enemy of my enemy is my friend. There isn't a better example than what's going on right now.
Yeah, Jay, you put it really well. What are the ramifications for rooting against, people. And look, I go and read my tweets. I gave a bunch of people crap that talked poorly about Richard Hart when he got served by the SEC, and they were excited to see that. How can you root for a government agency that is literally out to control and to tear down the entire crypto space? I just don't even understand from a mental capacity how you even it's so clear to me. And maybe it's just from the viewpoint that I have, and that I have really great people around me, but it just seems so clear that there's somebody that I should not be rooting for, and it's the person that wants the worst for me, right? Or the worst for this space. Chicago Brew, we're not done with this topic, but you were caught up in other streams and you missed the first hour. Bro, first of all, thank you for coming. No worries that you're late. But I just want to say that you might have missed one of the best hours that we have had in 36 episodes on this show. So you better not miss that replay. Okay? Was that enough encouragement?
Do it.
No, but no, glad to have you here. No worries that you missed the first hour, but we had some really fun topics and some good laughs in that first hour, especially if you like any weeb shit. So
fucking weeb.
Good
I did have
sale.
one last thing to throw in.
Yeah, Nate,
okay.
go ahead.
This is for everybody to think about. All right. I want everyone here to think about what it is that they can do now. Okay. I think it would be incredibly encouraging if there was a bunch, like maybe 10 at a time, 20 hexagons, pulsagons, whatever, and you really deck yourself out and you get loud as all hell, right? Because that's what we are. We're pretty damn loud. Okay. And you go to like a Coinbase hearing, right? You go to all these legal proceedings. Go to them. Okay. Start showing the crypto world who we are, because we're not hexagons, we're not pulsagons, and we're not like, you just go away. We're not that. We are crypto. We are freedom. We are decentralization, and we will cheer on anybody who's going to help that. And yes, Coinbase, right, as an example, would definitely help us out quite a bit. XRP, it would be great if we went over there with them as well, right? So I'm just encouraging everybody listening to this to think about, hey, maybe I'll take a visit and get super loud with all the stuff that I'm wearing about being, on Pulse, right? Being on Pulse Chain, and go to those hearings, be visible, talk to the people there, okay? Because we are together in crypto, and we are fighting these corrupt governments.
Yeah, and I want to say one other thing. We don't like to talk a lot about drama. We don't like to talk about a lot of things that are happening on. But look, anyone that's paying attention to Twitter right now, anybody that's paying attention to the Pulse Chain ecosystem, there's a lot of drama. There's a lot of infighting. There's a lot going on. And I'm not going to take any sides. All I'm going to say is, hey, let's let's put down the knives. Let's put down the shanks. Let's build each other up, and let's fight towards what we've been trying to build here now since Pulse Chain launched about a year ago, right? Since Hex launched years ago. What Richard Hart has been trying to build and what he has been, trying to tell all of us for a long time. If we don't work together, if we don't try to build Pulse Chain and Hex, and we don't try to bring new people into this community, and we just have infighting, and we're going to tear ourselves apart from the inside. The best countries, the best superpowers in the world have all been torn apart from the inside. Yep. And therefore, if we want to succeed, we need to work together and become one in a pursuit of freedom, pursuit of decentralization, in the pursuit of building something that we believe in.
Yeah, bro, that sounds cheesy as fuck.
Yeah, it does. But it's true.
No, you're right, man. It's true. Like I said earlier, you don't gotta like any of these people, right? I didn't like those people. What was it? Was the two losers of Block Bites or some shit like that, right? Who talked a lot of shit about Richard Hart, about how he's a scam artist, about how it's a cult. Paul Barron, who I think gives a lot of information. He was celebrating when Richard Hart got served papers by the SEC. Didn't like that too much, but I know that just because I don't like the stances and the ideas of some of these people doesn't mean I cheer for them if like the Coinbase or Ripple or Consensus is getting sued. I'm not going to cheer for their downfall, right? Because I know exactly what that means for the rest of the space if that were to succeed, right? So you don't got to like these people, but I mean, geez, we are a very, very niche market, right? And so, like Brendan said, it's not a good idea to have all of the infighting, right? Because we need as many people on our sides as possible. And if somebody from the outside looking in sees all of the nonsense that's going on Twitter, like grown ass men and women beefing back and forth on Twitter, like you ain't got nothing fucking better to do on your goddamn time than act immature on the internet, then you think that's going to attract these people to our space? The answer is no, right? So conduct yourselves like adults. And like do what Nate and Bean have been suggesting, right? Actually, put your money where your mouth is. Show up to some of these hearings. Coinbase have been, what was their movement, like Fight with Crypto or something like that, where they're actually going and showing up to all of these different congressional and Senate hearings, right? Over in Washington. So yeah, do stuff like that, right? Because that's how you're actually going to make a difference, not by making like novels on Twitter.
Yeah. Good points all around. We appreciate your community. So we have 2 quick articles left. One a little bit longer, so I'll go with the shorter one first. And that is U.S. seeks 3 years prison sentence for Binance founder CZ. Interesting. 3 years. I wonder what that would be. First of all, could have been way worse. Second of all, it's still a prison sentence. So what do you guys think about CZ potentially getting 3 years?
That shot, like, man, I don't know, dude.
I'm not surprised, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
At least it's less than Sam, man.
I know. That's the thing that I was looking at.
Bro, if they served CZ like double-digit years, bro, I'm like, bro, he didn't scam anybody. That article kind of got me heated, man. So there's a portion in there where the author was like, yeah, they accuse CZ of allowing these criminals who are like using crypto as their primary means of conducting themselves, and a lot of them are pedophiles. I'm like, bro, are you serious? Like, are you serious? I think pedophiles like using the US dollar as much as crypto. But I mean, I'm actually not surprised. Look, if you're on the bleeding edge of a technology, and CZ certainly was, Vitalik certainly was, you're going to get into a lot of trouble because you basically have a big red target on your back, right? CZ, despite what you might think of him or Binance, is very brave and courageous because he acted despite not having any of this regulatory uncertainty. Now, do the U.S. regulators and the judicial system have a point when saying that, yeah, CZ broke some laws, but CZ was like, look, we're asking for regulations. You guys are moving at a turtle space. I am not going to move at your pace. I am going to move this space forward to the best of my knowledge and to the best of my ability. And look, he's going to suffer the consequences of those actions, but at least he's doing the honorable thing and he didn't try to fucking run. Where the hell did Do Kwon try to run to, that little asshole?
Yeah, Do Kwon's a totally different situation.
Fucking dickhead. And Sam Bankman-Fried over here talking about, like, I didn't know what I was doing. Really? I was just having orgies out in the fucking Bahamas. I didn't know there was all this millions and billions of dollars of my customers' money being laundered to Alameda. I had no idea.
No, he didn't say no idea. He said he didn't know it was illegal. He said he didn't know it was illegal.
At least he didn't do any of that, right? At least he didn't defraud the American people. Yeah, you know what? CZ broke some rules, but guess what? When you are on the bleeding edge of a technology, you're gonna break some fucking rules. It's part and parcel of the environment, right? It's a work hazard.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: the rules weren't there, though. Technically, the rules weren't there, and then they made the rules, and then you broke them.
Exactly.
So, that's the reason why he's not getting as many years. You know that, right? Because he's basically making that argument of like the rules weren't there until you made them, and now I'm in trouble for breaking the rules that you now made. So they're like,
giving him 3 years for the rules that were there that he did break.
Yeah, no, he broke. He did. Look, he broke some rules that were in place. But let's also say that this is just what they're looking to give to him. Now, I'll also say that I don't think in my memory that anyone has normally gone to jail for these type of infractions previously. Now, he paid a big criminal penalty, 50 million or something like that, if my memory serves me. And so, honestly, I think
Bean,
there's a fair
50
chance.
50 was a personal. Remember
Yeah,
when he
it was like
doing,
4 billion
doing the
for his company,
hand
right?
sign?
Yeah,
4 billion.
4 billion.
Oh, that was cool.
So it was interesting. So 4.5 billion, right, between personal and company. Look, I think he's paid what needed to be paid. I don't think he deserves jail time personally. Like you said, he didn't do anything sleazy like SBF. He didn't do anything super sleazy like Do Kwon, and those people deserve jail, right? In fact, they deserve Suzu. Yep, exactly. But I don't think he's going to get 3 years. I really don't think a judge is going to give him 3 years. I hope that they don't give him any. I hope the judge just says, "Look, you've paid your dues, you paid your penalties. Let's move on." So we'll see. I think that they are trying to go a little heavy on him because it's crypto, and some of these people really in our government really don't like crypto. Like Elizabeth Warren, who, if you're in Massachusetts, please don't vote for her again. Not a political show, but gosh, like she's so thick when it comes to crypto, and she's so thick when it comes to anything that has any sign of intelligent life within it. Like, okay, sorry.
Bean is saying that she's not thick in the right places. God damn it!
All in the wrong places.
Hang on, I
Okay.
gotta pull up a Mid-Journey real quick.
But
Go look up some AI of thick Elizabeth Warren.
Oh
Holy
my
shit! Don't do that,
goodness.
bro. Don't.
Let's do it.
well, I gotta sleep
it.
tonight.
Ah,
I
Do
gotta
it,
sleep
man.
tonight. But anyway, so yeah, so they're looking for three years for CZ. We'll see if they get it to him. He's already paid a ton of money. And so I'm hoping that he doesn't get jail time. But if you do give him jail time, I think it'll be less than 3 years. I think is he? He's not in jail right now, is he? He's out
No.
on
He's
bail, right?
out on bail.
Yeah.
He also paid a few million to be out on bail.
Yeah. So
Hey, you know, at the end of that article, Bean, there was like this holier than thou statement, not made by the author, but I think like some like congresswoman or some shit like that. It's like, yeah, these people need to know that there are consequences for breaking the law. I'm like, yeah, why don't you? I'd like you to go out and say that about Sam, right? About
Right?
Do Kwon, like we're like. You know, go up there in your podium and rally the American people when these fucking criminals are actually rugging people. But you know, we all know how that turns out, right? It's like Sam donated millions and millions of dollars to the both Republican and Democrat Party. So let's I'm not taking sides here, man. And you know, he's Gary made a visit to his facilities multiple times, and Gary was like, "Oh, seems like everything's in working order. Carry on."
yeah. All right.
Oh.
Well, I want to get to this last article, but I just want to give a few shout outs to the last couple people we missed. Russ, cheers, brother. Thank you for joining us. I don't know if you're the Shaggy Dog or somebody else, but welcome. Seen you here before. Moon Mutt, good evening. Happy to have you. Love the logo, as always. The Chicago Brew, thanks for the comments in the chat. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining, even a little bit late. There's a lot that you can all be doing with your time. There's a lot of people you could be watching in the crypto sphere or otherwise, and that you take some time out to watch us. We really appreciate that. So please like and subscribe. Join our Telegram. That is currently free. And if things go well, won't be free for much longer.
Bro, my favorite kidnapper just dropped in the chat, bro. Is that Boogie?
You just call me kidnapper.
My favorite mass kidnapper. Hey, Boogie, bro. What is that, man? That's a racial slur, man. I'm gonna report you, bro.
Monkeys?
Let's call us monkeys, man.
What?
Hey, you're not.
I prefer the term ape. Okay.
Yeah.
I like to ape, not monkey around.
I like the term silverback, please.
Harambe.
Harambe. Oh, R.I.P. Too soon, man. Too soon.
All right.
I've got
Oh no. All right, share your
non
screen.
sequitur. No, I'm not going to share
Close my
screen.
eyes.
I'm not going to share screen. What I'm going to do is I have posted in the chats a link to the DGen Roundtable not safe for works memes folder, wherein I have posted a pretty tepid picture of of
Oh, that's actually
Elizabeth
not
Warren
bad.
as imagined by AI.
Mm.
So this is young Elizabeth Warren. I love that it's in black and white. So that's hilarious. But this is young Elizabeth
it's
Warren
young.
as imagined by in black and white as imagined by Midjourney AI. So
Yeah.
for the folks at home, if you haven't already joined our DGen Roundtable Telegram, this is perhaps a reason to do so. You guys can scan this link down there below, or you can click on that link and it'll bring you into the DGen Roundtable Telegram. It'll specifically put you in our Not Safe for Work Spicy Memes Telegram page, which is a fun one, and I highly recommend it. But yeah, that's all that I had for that. I'm sorry for distracting from the show. Carry on.
Well,
okay,
no, I
man.
mean you're correct, Will. Like we definitely need to get people into this Telegram group because this here, like our group is something different, right? And
We're
the
the
more
best,
and
bro.
more, what was that?
We're the best, bro.
We are. We legitimately are because the more and more you get like I was talking with Almighty the other day and he was talking about like all the drama and things going on between people and he himself, has a lot of drama going on with stuff and it was interesting because I'm like, dude, you're not going to get any of that. You never do get any of that like weird drama, people just reacting very poorly over nothing type of stuff in our channel. And even if somebody does get like really reactive, they get checked immediately and it's like,
Yeah.
yo, why are you freaking out? And immediately gets help. Like we are something else. We are
Yeah, because
definitely
you know what we
something
care
else.
about, bro? We care about making money. We don't care about this fucking high school
yeah.
drama that's going on Twitter, man. We care about helping our community. We care about making money. We care about helping you create financial freedom and finances. We care about health, fitness. That's what we care about, bro. We don't care about high school drama. So if you don't care about none of that shit, then get in the fucking DRT Telegram, man.
Right there. It's so easy. All you need to do is just stick your phone up to it, right? Stick your phone up like this, like, oh my god, I can do this. Wow, it's so easy. Very easy, man.
I'll also say that if I'm out of line, I know that these other people in the panel are going to call me out, and if I deserve to be called out, then I'm going to have to think about my actions. But we also call out our OGs. We don't just call out new people to the chat. If we think that an OG or one of us said something that's wrong or insensitive in the sense like we don't appreciate personal attacks on people. We, like Jay always says, attack people's ideas, have intellectual conversations, but don't attack who they are as a person. That's what we don't stand for. And so we'll even call each other out when we make mistakes or step over a line. So no one's free from reproach.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone called me a
attack-
pussy, so now I'm doing 34 push-ups a day.
My man. Now, I always say personal attacks are the last recourse of the intellectually inept. You don't have anything else to say. You can't attack the idea. You can't conduct civil discourse and have a proper debate. And so you attack the person personally, right? You don't got no more ammo. So that's that.
So
And
speaking of,
shout out to Nate for 34 push-ups a day. Nate already did his 34 push-ups.
I have done 17. After the show, I'm gonna do my last 17, and then I will post it in the DGen Ripped table, which is brand new, by the way, guys. You might want to get into there too. Almighty apparently didn't know about it, so I told him about it. He was like, "Oh yeah, I love it," and so he jumped in there.
all right. So we got a lot of good stuff going on in our community. We're trying to better people in more ways than just finances because, if you make a lot of money, I don't know, most people that win the lottery end up going bankrupt because they don't know how to spend their money. They don't know how to be mentally, they don't have mental fortitude. They don't understand how to better themselves in multiple aspects. And so they're just tossing their money at whatever they can and they end up going bankrupt. So don't be that person. Okay. So today is April 28th, 2024. Right now, we are 9:37 a.m. in Hong Kong on April 29th. So they are 12 hours ahead of us.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so 1.5 days until the ETFs are live, yeah?
Yes. So Hong Kong has Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs that are going to begin trading on April 30th. Now, they are 12 hours ahead of us, so they will be trading in about 24 hours, give or take. So that is a really interesting turn of events. We have heard a lot over the bear market about how anti-crypto China is. And now, for those of you who don't know, Hong Kong is kind of a part of China, but they have their own government and they have their own economic decision makers. But in reality, they do have a connection to China. So what happens in Hong Kong is definitely being watched by mainland China. And so it's not a small event that there's a Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETF launching on April 30th in Hong Kong. I think Hong Kong's around 7 million or a little over 7 million people. And so there's a lot of money in that area that's now going to be opened up to crypto. Now, say this goes well. What are the odds that mainland China says, hey, we need to get on these ETFs for Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? As Nate said many, many months ago, this is kind of like a testing ground for China in regards to, hey, maybe if this goes well with Hong Kong, we'll launch our own ETFs. And then the floodgates open, right? Then the money starts pouring in again. And this is where we have the next sort of potential leg up, one of the next potential legs up for the crypto market to continue this bull run and continue a potential unprecedented bull run this cycle. And that's what we're all hoping for. So Hong Kong spot ETFs are launching very, very soon. What do you guys think about that? Nate, I want you to talk about this first.
Yeah, so number one, this is going to help out quite a bit. But as Battlehead and Sniper says here, the Chinese nationalists are not allowed to participate in the Hong Kong ETFs. So we're not actually, those ETFs are not actually going to be taking too much effect right now. However, the thing that I love about it is that they're starting with the ETFs right off the bat, right? What this is going to do is this is going to put a lot of pressure on the United States to be like, hey, maybe we should get these going before. And actually, this is how the companies are going to see them, right? We need to get started now because the government right now are preventing us from being able to do what we do best, aka BlackRock. There's going to be a huge amount of pressure to get those things started. So what this is right now is it's kind of China is already seeing what's happening in the United States as far as the Bitcoin ETF, saying, oh shit, that's a big deal, and there's actually a ton of demand for it. But we're not going to go against what we've already done, right? And so Hong Kong, you do it right away. Do it for us real quick. Let's see just how good it is. And as soon as Hong Kong, like there's a lot of money in Hong Kong. Okay, that's where a lot of business, like large amounts of money, type of businessmen go.
Hong Kong is a very, 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 very rich country. They are very rich.
Yeah. Sub China, right? But they are definitely, there's going to be a ton of money that goes into these ETFs. And as soon as China sees that, it's not going to be like a couple of months until China's like, oh shit, let's just open up the floodgates, allow our people to get in there. All of mainland China. That's a lot of money, by the way. Second largest market in the fucking world, other than United States of America. And yeah, as soon as they go and open that up, just happens to fall right around, more than likely it's going to be right around winter time of this year / next year, right? So right around years change is going to be when these things really, when China's like, okay, we're opening it all up, and then the floodgates come in and you start seeing prices flying.
I think it'll be this year or early next year for China. But I just want to give a couple more facts. It is a big deal that Hong Kong is launching this because Hong Kong has the largest number of ultra high net worth individuals. They are one of the highest per capita incomes in the world of any city. And I think they have I think they're like in the top 10 of most billionaires of any city in the world. So this isn't a small amount of money that has the opportunity to flood into the market through these ETFs, both Bitcoin and Ethereum. And China knows that as well, right? So seeing high leverage, high money being able to come into this market, I think that it is going to cause China to start making some moves. But look, China's never going to say, hey, we did something wrong. They're going to find a way to allow it to happen, but make it look like they're giving their people something amazing, right? It's like, look how good we are to our people.
Yeah.
But of course,
they're going to find a way to take credit.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it is a big deal. There's a lot of money in Hong Kong. A lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I like this. I have really liked what Hong Kong has been doing for the past few years. For those of you who remember a few episodes, well, not a few episodes ago, but a few months ago, we spoke about the what's the word I'm looking for, man? We spoke about the landscape of crypto outside of the United States, right? Because I believe in that episode, shit was hitting the fan here in the United States about all of the litigation that's being thrown left and right at some of these big companies here in the US. And so we kind of wanted to give people an overview of the landscape outside of the United States. And Hong Kong was one of the main countries that we covered in that article. And if I remember correctly, what we would discuss was Hong Kong was one of the few countries where the regulators, the citizenry, and also the businesses were trying to come together to create a legal framework for crypto, right? I believe we also spent some time talking about MiCA over in the EU as well, and some other nations when it came to the crypto regulation. And so here they are again, right? They want to be a pioneer in this space, and this is just one example of them doing exactly just that, launching the Ethereum and Bitcoin spot ETFs in their country. What that's going to do is it's going to serve as a proxy for China, right? One of the things that we spoke about a few episodes ago was, remember when there was this exodus of capital from the Chinese markets into foreign markets, and then they just shut down the exchanges, right? If you guys remember that, we spoke about that a few times. China doesn't like it when money is flowing from their system, out of their system into others, right? And so the success of and I think they are going to be success, is going to be a good proxy for China. So if it obviously China right now, they're not as open to crypto as we would like them to be. And so if these ETFs do well over in HK, they're gonna be like, okay, right? We now have a good example of money not leaving the country and staying within our borders, right? And then if they deem that as a success, then maybe they become a bit more open to one, creating a good regulatory framework for crypto in their country, right? Maybe bringing back mining once again, right? Because mining was banned over in China. And so the success of the HK ETFs are going to be a good proxy for mainland China, right? And this, I think they go live day 41 of the current 60-day cycle. So this could actually be the pivot point that the people are looking for. Yet to be determined, right? Currently, I think still more sideways to down movement. Not that much down movement, more sideways over the next few weeks. But who knows? This is going to be what, on Tuesday, right? Monday or Tuesday when they're going to go live.
In 2 days. Yeah, it's going to be Tuesday.
24 hours from now.
Yeah, so this is going to be a big pivot point. We see how the market responds. We see how China responds, and then we go from there. But I think just all good. All like good for them, right?
You want to go back even further, Jay?
Yeah.
33 weeks ago, 33 shows ago, we had a certain Brendan knows where I'm going with this. We had a certain show called The Perfect Storm Theory where we were talking about this exact thing. Looks like it's working out perfectly. Man, we're gonna have to keep going back to that third episode of ours, aren't we?
Yeah, 8 months ago we said that Hong Kong would be the testing grounds for crypto regulation in China. And what's happening? We're getting the first Bitcoin Ethereum spot ETFs. We said that 8 months, almost, I think 8 months ago now. So I'm guaranteed we said it before anybody else. And so what we've said on that show, we might have been a little bit raw and kind of early on, but everything's starting to come to fruition. So that's kind of interesting to see. I'll also say one thing I really like about Hong Kong is that they are really trying to be fully committed to being an international innovation and technology hub in the world. And that's why they want crypto and they want to welcome crypto, because they want to continue to enhance their technology, enhance being a leader in that space. And how can you be a leader in technology and innovation if you stifle crypto growth? And, I think that how much money that Hong Kong can make through the companies that are also working in Hong Kong, just in the crypto sphere, also could create money for China. But China, as a government, is going to want a big piece of that, right? So for them, it's like, okay, how can we regulate this in a way where we can, still be against freedom? Because why do they hate crypto? Because they hate freedom. They don't want their people to be free. So I get that. But they'll find a way. They'll find a way to still control their people, but allow them to invest nonetheless. Yeah. At some point.
Bro, if it wasn't for the communism, China would be such a great place, bro. like China would be, if it wasn't for the fucking communism, China would be such a great place, dude. Like their school system, if you see how they teach young people in China, bro, like how structured they are about teaching them not just like academics but life skills in general, dude, it's amazing. You know that meme that we played about the Chinese kids like in in the classroom, like just jamming and having fun, right? And the teachers going along with them, right? Like that, if it wasn't for the communism, bro, it would be so great. That's it, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, and here's so the
Like,
interesting thing about the interesting thing about China, right, is that they're in competition with the United States. So at this point, Russia has been kind of beaten down to the point where like they're no longer that superpower of Russia versus United States. Nowadays, it's becoming China versus United States, right? And Russia is just partnering with China. So it's a difficult place for them to be in, kind of like between a rock and a hard place, because they absolutely need to be in competition with the United States and have like these ETFs and all the cryptos and all that. They have to have all that inflow, right? That's just a part of the economy. But they also can't allow this thing that is based or predicated and based on freedom to be in their society, because their society itself, like if you look at the stuff that they're doing, it's legitimately like you have to scan your retinas and things like that, right?
Yeah.
And able to use your money. That's actually just how controlling it is. Yeah, that's how controlling it is. But they also cannot allow Bitcoin to just be like, oh, we're just not going to invest in it at all. Okay, well, you lost your second place spot. Like, hell no, they're not going to allow that. So it's going to be very interesting how they implement all this and like how they spin the narrative, you know? It's going to be a lot of fun, but definitely Hong Kong. That's the
wealthy
testing ground.
people get it. The wealthy people in China, they're going to have it.
People get it.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
What's
They
up,
probably already
Boogie?
do.
I love what Boogie says. He says if it wasn't for the cartels, Mexico would be amazing too. It's a good point. It's like, you know, there's so many amazing places or would be so many amazing places in the world to live if it wasn't for overreaching tyrannical governments, which is what we're trying to ask our government not to be. Okay. Don't tax me at 50% and give me nothing in return and use my money for nothing of use. Don't please use the SEC to call things securities when they are not. We don't want to become countries that are that people are fleeing left and right.
I
I just want to flee to Mexico.
The government does not respond kindly to please requests. The government responds to people leaving and to people like revolting. Now, revolting is not necessarily a good option, but like when people like leave or people stop paying or people say no, take the Amish, for instance. The Amish don't have to sign up for the draft. The Amish don't pay Social Security tax. They just tell the government to fuck right off. The Amish are pretty fucking badass. For those of you guys who don't know much about them, there's some pretty cool.
And they make great furniture, don't they, Jay?
Yes,
they do. They are very expensive, but the quality is there. They are very expensive, but that's a very good point, Will. It's amazing what a small group of individuals can do when they just say, "Nah, man, you're not going to impose on our freedoms and our rights that way."
Yep. The Amish don't pay a lot of tax, and they do pay a lot of other tax, but like you know, they live their thing.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? You have to consider this is one thing that people miss about folks like the Amish. Like that culture is extremely homogenous, like by definition homogenous. The reason why they're so strong and they are so banded together is because their culture, their ideals, their morals and ethics, they all basically line up with each other. It's very hard to break that apart when every single person in the community basically agrees with each other, right? Now, I'm not saying that that's what we should do here in America. One of the strengths of America is because we are a melting pot of a whole bunch of different talents. There's a reason why all the fucking innovation is here in America, right? Because we have the most talent here. But with those benefits also comes certain like weaknesses, and not being a homogenous culture is one of those things, right? So it's just something to fucking consider, man. You know, so.
All right. So, yes, there's a lot to talk about. We could talk on these conversations for a very long time. But for tonight, we have to start closing out. It's closing time, fellas. And,
closing time.
You know, we had a lot of really good topics tonight.
Yeah, we
And
did.
one thing, when Will was talking about people moving to Panama, I really wanted to scream, Panama! Shout out to Van Halen. So I'm just going to do that right now since I didn't get to do it earlier. But yeah, Chicago Brew brings up some good points as well. So do your research. China does have 85+%.
Well, who the hell is this?
Oh,
I see twinsies, bro.
We're about when we do our shout outs, it'll make closing out, it'll make sense. Go ahead.
Well,
continue with your
Will,
points.
why don't you just take us to the closeout, buddy?
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start the close off process here with you guys right now. So this is my brother Sam. For those of you guys who have not met Sam,
Or have not watched a book club.
Yes, or have not watched the book club.
Yeah, he's a regular on book club.
So I don't think Sam can hear what's going on right now. So I'm going to basically, do a little spiel. I want to do. Speaking of book club, the brothers, 2 of them, have come out with a Tower Climbers cookbook. So here is
That's
Sam.
awesome.
Here is Sam, and here's me. As old people, we're fucking chefs. We are published authors now. There's 25 books in this stack right here. But
Runs in the family, does it, Will?
Yep, we've come out with a book. You can see he's taller than me. It's like it. Yeah, we are a.
You two fucking killed me, I swear.
But anyways, we've come out with a cookbook. It's the Brothers Tower Climbers cookbook. There are 50 of them, 50. We're going to be signing these all later today and tomorrow, and then we will be either mailing them out or hand delivering them or whatever. So if you guys in the audience want a copy of the Tower Climbers cookbook, what you need to do is you need to go to Linktree/Will Stevenson or Linktree/Sam Stevenson. Find our telegrams in there and send us a message on Telegram and say, hey, I want a book. There's 50 of them. The first 50 get it, right? So we are selling them at cost. We've already got them printed out. It was a price that it was. And so they're all being distributed at cost. So hit us up, send us a message on Telegram, t.me/Will Stevenson or t.me/Sam. Oh, shoot. Samuel D. Stevenson. I'm pretty sure that there's some capitalizations and stuff in there. But anyways, I wanted to make that announcement. So that's what I got going on.
You're going to hand deliver one to me?
I'll hand deliver one to anyone who wants one.
Yeah, come up here.
It might
Come up
take
north.
a while, but yeah, I'll hand deliver. So there we go. That is what's going on in the near future with me. You guys can find everything that, I'm going to go ahead and just drop the link in the chat. I don't know why I didn't do that to begin with, but t.me/Will Stevenson is my Telegram, and I am dropping my Linktree in there. That has the access to all of my socials, and I will go ahead and also drop my brother's Linktree in there as well. And yeah, you guys can reach out to either one of us and reserve a book. And that's all that I've got. Other than that, guys, join my my Hex Meetup channel, which is t.me/Hex_Meetup. And then go meet up with other Hexicans. I met up with Paul. I met up with Jesse. I met up with Moonmutt. Shout out to these gentlemen live in the chat right now. I know Paul was in here earlier. I know Moonmutt was in here as well. So it was super fun meeting you guys. But again, if you want one of 50, there's only 50. We will never print more of them. That's it. Tower Climbers Cookbook. And you guys can read about the stories of our climbing towers and the things that we cooked while we were doing it. So that's all I got. What's up?
Will, Battle Hardened Sniper wants you to hand deliver it to him.
I will do that.
In Australia.
It might take a while for me to get to you, Sniper, but I'll do it. I'll fucking do it.
I want one.
So there we go. Yep. Start sending us messages, because the first 50 messages we get are the first 50 that are going out, and they will also be numbered, so you know which one you get in the order of the 50. But that's all I got. Thank you for joining me, Sam. But yeah, he's visiting me over here in Dallas right now. So appreciate you coming in.
Thank you, sir. Nate.
Yes.
Mr. Ascending Man, where are we sending to next?
I'm ascending to fitness, actually. That's kind of what I've been doing a little bit. I decided, like, on stream, what was it, Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, because we introduced the Degen Rip table. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do 1,000 push-ups every single month for the entire year. And so every single day, I've been doing 2 sets of 17. And we are going to finish out with technically more than 1,000, because I think it's like 33.3. But I will be doing over 1,000 every single month. And I'm going to start off with that. But we are also confirmed. She's the missus over here is going to be going shopping tomorrow. And we are starting the carnivore diet, following along with Josh and all the recommendations and all that. So we are going to be, So, yeah, good times coming along.
Meat.
Meat. We gotta have ourselves some meat. Yeah.
My co-host, the one and only, the great value technical analyst, Agent J, buddy. What you got going on?
Yeah, so as far as what we got going on, we have, let's see, do we have a special guest on Wednesday? Is that going to be a regular Whiskey Wednesday?
I think it's a
episode,
Whiskey
yeah?
Wednesday coming up.
It's Whiskey
Wednesday
Wednesday
episode.
this week.
So we got Whiskey Wednesday this next Wednesday. If things actually do pivot in the market because of the Hong Kong ETFs, watch out for a emergency stream in the Telegram, whether that's going to be Monday or going to be Tuesday. You'll find us there, and that's the only place you're going to get it. So if you want the alpha when it drops, then join the Telegram channel. You can find me on Instagram at _P90Hex and on X at switch that around. On X at _P90Hex and on Instagram at agent_J Schroth. As always, we know time is your most valuable asset, so we do appreciate that you spend some of that time here with us on this wonderful Sunday evening. You could be anywhere else, but you're here getting the alpha. And if you like fitness and nutrition, every single Friday before book club, 6 p.m. Eastern, me and my co-host Casey, and when James, Mr. James Bond, gets back into town, we are hosting a fitness and nutrition AMA every single Friday, going over fitness and nutrition topics that the chat want to go over, and then doing a little bit of Q&A afterwards. So if you want that alpha also, that only happens in the Telegram. You don't get it here on YouTube. So jump in. That's all I got, man. Mr. Bean, take us out, brother.
Thank you, Jay, Will, Nate, and Mrs. Producer. It's been a great show. Thank you to everyone that joined tonight. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Join our Telegram, and don't stop working hard to get to where you want to be.
Believing.
Don't stop believing. I'm really bad at karaoke, but I love karaoke. So maybe we'll do a DRT karaoke when we do a meetup. Who knows?
Bro, I'm Asian. You know we doing karaoke, man.
Oh, I love it.
We're doing karaoke.
That's gonna be an in real life meetup that we're literally gonna go to karaoke and embarrass ourselves.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. But no, honestly, we couldn't do this without you. So thank you, everybody, for listening in. Honestly, I thought we had some great topics tonight, some really interesting conversations, and some fun reads. So don't stay out of the news for too long. You got to stay in the game if you want to be in the crypto markets. Understand your risk tolerances, and don't just dump all your money into memes, because you want that good core portfolio going well. Although it's okay to throw some scratches into memes here and there. So thank you all. Wednesday, Whiskey Wednesday. We'll be back next Sunday for our normal Sunday show. Although I will not be here next week, so I'm going to miss you all. But I'll see you in a couple weeks. And go Celtics, go Bruins, sports playoffs, sports ball, woo woo. And let's take it out.
DJ responsibly.
Safely.